To get revenue, you need to know what Grant Cardone says: who has my money? Who has my money? How do I sell to them? Okay, I know who has my money. Every single man, 18 to 35, could benefit from my personal improvement business. How do I sell to them? Well, I put out 99% free content on YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, iTunes, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com, in the hopes that they see me as an authority, in the hopes that I'm able to solve a lot of their problems for free, and then in the hopes that that is going to translate into them wanting to pay to solve a major problem and buy one of my books. And ideally, they're going to like that book and keep buying every product that I have and are going to be a lifetime customer. That's who has my money. If you're in real estate, okay, well, where are you? Let's say you're where I came from in Toronto. You're going to specialize in downtown, Bay Street real estate. Okay, so you're going after C-suite executives. You're going after guys who make $200,000 a year. You're focusing on your niche. However many miles is your niche. You're looking at who the top 5 real estate salesmen are in your niche, and now you know who you're competing with. You're finding them through listings. You're finding them through, wherever it is. Where you have to know who has your money, where to find them, and go after them. Okay, and it means you need to know how to sell. Again, check out my book, How to Sell, to see exactly how to do that. And then you need to know how to keep those customers or clients. Very important. So start with revenue and how you're going to get it. You don't need a fancy business plan because you're not reinventing the wheel. You already know that your product has a service or demand, like I covered in part 1. Okay, you already know that people are successful in it, and you just need to know what they're doing. You need to model their success. You need to read all the books about selling real estate or whatever it is, and know who has your money, how you're going to get it. All right. And when you're getting it, you got to set those revenue targets every month. Just like I did in corporate sales, I set revenue targets every month. For RLD, I set it every year. And I take that really seriously. Okay. If I missed a revenue target by like 20%, I got to, stop everything. Let's go and see what happened here. Okay. And if my revenue is steadily increasing or there's a big spike in it, I'll be like, okay, what happened here? What did I do right here? How do I do more of that? Very important. And again, you can see it in my book, How to Sell, but you can also check out my definitive guide to sales. It's a 4-part series where you can get a lot of good information for free. Part 2 is on how to sell. Part 3 is on how to service your customers and clients. You can find that on YouTube. You can find that on my website. Unfortunately, the scope of that is so big, I don't have time to go into that right now, but you don't even have to buy the book. You can find like a good amount of that material for free on my site or on YouTube. So that's very important. Set those revenue targets and be on it, man. Stay on that revenue, okay? If you're not serious about revenue, you're not serious about your business, and you're not going to make it. Next point, getting and keeping clients and customers. So advertising, and I'm talking about online advertising like Facebook and Google AdWords, does not pay for one-off products that cost less than $100. So let me explain. We found this out in my tech startup where by the time we got to market, we figured out it took $60 in Google AdWords to get a customer, but our product was $60. Actually, when I came on board, the product was $30 and they were losing money on advertising. So I said, build the product up to $60. Now it's breaking even. And that was it. We tried to sell it at $90. People weren't buying it. So it was like $60 breaking even on advertising. And in RLD, I don't advertise my products because my books are $40 and the advertising won't pay for it, okay? In the future, when I do courses, I might do $100 or $200 courses. I'll probably advertise those, especially if they're SEO targeted keywords like how to get built or how to get laid or something like that has natural search volume. Then I might advertise that because I know it already that keyword sells. Okay, but compare that to my man in Toronto, one of my oldest friends, who made 40 grand in his first year as a car broker, where he would basically negotiate a discount for you, and he would take 20% of whatever he saved you off the sticker price of a car, which I think is a really good business model, by the way. And his only expense, he wasn't doing any cold calls. He was only doing inbound Google advertising, and he was spending $500 a month doing that. And that got him $40,000 a year in revenue, just $500 a month in advertising spend, because his average transaction, his average deal was $700. So literally one deal would pay for his entire advertising. You know, he closed 5 deals a month. So that amount of advertising was super, super useful for him, okay? Because there was enough money in his deal volume. If this is not a, you know, it's not a 100% guarantee. Like maybe, you know, okay, if you have an $80 product, you might be able to make the AdWords work for you. But in my experience, it's got to be $100 or over. You know, ideally, if it's a one-off product, $200 or more, $300, $400, that kind of a range, because you need something that's going to pay off. Because advertising costs money, right? You know, $5 product, advertising that, I mean, it's not going to happen. You know. So if you're planning on advertising on Google or Facebook, the exception to it is like this, okay? I'm just talking about one-off products there. If you've got a recurring product, like say supplements or whatever, and you know each customer buys, the average customer will buy $50 of supplements at a time off your business, and the average customer is going to come back and buy that every month for 6 months, 1 year, 3 years. Again, you have to learn the life cycle of your business really well. And you can test it out. You can afford to gamble on that, because even if you take a loss on the first month, you know you're only taking a loss in month 1, but by month 2, that customer that you spent $100 to get in, who only spent $60, is going to spend another $60. Then you made money, and then 6 months, a year from now, you know you're continuing to make money on that particular customer. So a recurring product is definitely. You can definitely afford to break even or lose money on that, but for a one-off product, it just doesn't work. And the other thing that can work really well, is a monthly subscription, right? That in the monthly subscription, you can afford to lose money, or you can afford to break even, because you know that the guy's going to be there for, you know, he's got a recurring bill on his credit card that's usually going to last 3 months to a year, or maybe, you know, some clients are going to be there for 5 years. So you can actually afford to lose a decent amount of money on advertising for that particular customer or client. But on average, if you're just doing like a one-off product, if you're doing ebooks, if you're not taking my advice and doing a service-based business, you want it to do e-commerce, advertising might not work for you if it's just a one-off product. So that's something that's very, very important to understand. Next point on getting and keeping customers is do not bet on a deal until it's closed, right? This is something that I learned every single day in sales, and I learned it so many times. I learned it in dating. I learned it in my tech business. Okay, that deal is not guaranteed until you have their money in your hand, okay? For my tech business, we had a verbal agreement for a buyout from the 4th largest Canadian media company, and our business advisor said we were looking about $3 million for the 3 of us, which is going to be about $1 million a piece before taxes, and then it's going to be another year of golden handcuffs where I'd be making like $150,000 to help them transition it onto their team. And I was like going to be gone, and I'm going to be into Thailand. I was like, yeah, baby, can't wait, man. And I knew that, like, okay, it's not closed, but I was like, the guy gave us, he's like, for sure we're in. Then he went back and talked to the top decision makers at the company, and they ran the numbers internally again, and they were out. C'est la vie, okay? Now you might say, hey, Will, you weren't talking to the decision maker, but the person who probably signed off or didn't sign off on that was either the CEO or the COO. We were talking to like the top, probably number 4, number 5 guy at the company. The only guy we could get a meeting with. He had a relationship with my business partner. My business advisor. My business advisor had previously taken another company and sold it to him. So we were talking to the absolute best guy that we could get a hold of. But again, a lot of times things don't work out like that. All right, and so you don't have the money when a client has interest. You don't have the money when they verbally agree.